Hey everyone, welcome to Real Reviews. In today's video, I want to talk about a moment from a popular series titled Invincible that really made an impact on me. Now, if you are a fan of the series, then you most likely know the moment I am going to speak on. But for those who don't know, I want to give you a very brief synopsis that kind of leads up to the scene I ultimately want to touch on. The series is focused on a young man by the name of Mark Grayson. He is the son to the most powerful superhero in the world, Omni-Man. Mark grows up admiring his father and wanting to be very much like him. He basically idolizes him. He sees his father as not only the most powerful superhero in the world, but also one to be admired, as Omni-Man has saved the planet countless times from villains and otherworldly threats. Now, in the beginning of the series, we as the audience have bought into this and have had no reason to doubt Omni-Man's character. That is until at the end of the first episode, when we witness Omni-Man murder his entire superhero team. I remember seeing that for the very first time. My jaw dropped, as that was a totally unexpected turn for me. But I was still not convinced that Omni-Man was evil, because, mind control. But as the series progresses, we discover that Omni-Man was always in his right mind. The series goes on to unpack this evidence slowly, still leaving the audience with the hope that Omni-Man wasn't evil. Now, during these events, we also see Mark Grayson slowly becoming a superhero. We all witness when he first gets his powers. We see him being trained by his dad, and we even see him deal with the whole secret identity trope. He wants to be just like his dad. He wants to be a superhero. And to some extent, he has become somewhat successful. That is until he is faced with the ultimate world-shattering reality that his father is really a villain. Now, something that I noticed and enjoyed was when he first discovers the truth about his father. His first response wasn't, "How dare you?" but rather, his reaction was, "Who is controlling your mind?" Now, this is the exact same mindset that I had at the beginning of the series, until the truth was ultimately revealed. Now, I could go on and on about the details, but for the sake of brevity, I will now get to the moment I really want to speak on. And this happens in the final episode. Now, during this episode, we watch as complete horror washes over the face of Invincible. His entire picture of who his father was is completely shattered. And this is where the show really struck me in the heart. We not only witness the effects of that secret on Invincible, but we then begin to witness Omni-Man try to desensitize his son to human life and attempt to convert him over to his way of thinking. Not exclusively by logical reasoning, but by showing how insignificant humanity is in the most literal manner possible. Omni-Man begins to kill numerous people in front of his son in an attempt to break his heart so that his son joins him in his quest. Scene after scene, Omni-Man takes life after life. Now, probably the most devastating scene was the train scene in which Omni-Man throws his son into the subway and holds his face toward an oncoming train. And because they are both invulnerable, the train is destroyed around them, along with all of the people inside. Blood is spilled everywhere, leaving Invincible completely devastated. After that, Omni-Man punches his son and throws him to the side of a mountain where he continues beating his son. And this is where the moment happens. Omni-Man pummels his son, breaking his teeth and bones in an attempt to break his spirit. He asks his son why he cares so much about these insignificant human beings and states that, "You will outlive your mother and all of humanity for thousands of years, and in the end, who will you have left?" And the moment happens. Coughing up blood and barely able to speak, Invincible, in a broken and weak voice, whispers and says, "You, Dad. I'd still have you." In that moment, all of Omni-Man's power was rendered useless. He stopped beating his son and looked at his blood-stained hands and flew away. As he was flying into space, the camera catches a single tear that falls from Omni-Man. That moment choked me up immediately. It reminded me of God's strong love for us. In Romans chapter 5 and verse 8, it states, "But God shows his love for us, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." We all like to imagine that we would be more like Invincible, But in reality, Omni-Man in this scenario is us, and our sins were beating Christ. All of our sin was placed on Jesus. We are Omni-Man, and Invincible was like a Jesus figure in this series. He was willing to die for his Father if it meant that he could change. In the face of all that terror, Invincible was still thinking about how much he loved his dad, and how he was willing to live thousands of years without his mom or even humanity, if it meant that there was still hope that his dad would change. And with that said, there is still hope for you, because of what Jesus was willing to suffer for you. As long as you have breath in your body, you can change. And that is made possible not by power and physical might, but by love. God's love. Well, I hope and pray that this real moment meant something to you. In the comments section, please share a moment in film or from any series that impacted you. I would love to read them. Until next time, God bless and see you at the movies.